Okay, looking at applications of reciprocity in schools. So the learning outcome for this lesson, by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to apply the reciprocity principle in an education setting to improve stakeholder relationships and engagement. The following applications for reciprocity in schools are just some of the possibilities available, and by no means are an exhaustive list. At the end of the day, schools will get the most value through using the principles of persuasion to help solve their most pressing problems. If truancy is a problem for your school, try using the reciprocity principle to address it. If truancy is not a problem for your school, then you don't need to add persuasion principles to change anything. Another consideration is the cost of what you give. The obligation to return value is based on the perceived value of the initial gift, not what it actually cost you. For this reason, try to make your gifts items that have a high value for the person you're giving it to by aligning it with their needs and personalization, but that you can deliver for low or no cost to yourself. Digital gifts are excellent for this purpose, as once they are developed, they can be shared for virtually no cost. For young students, stickers or other low-cost motivational tools can be effective, although their value diminishes as students get older, and they're usually used as a reward for work well done, rather than as a front-loaded obligation to complete the work. Candy, chocolate bars, or other treats can be quite attractive, although not very healthy. For many teenagers, digital currency has a lot of value to them and may be obtained through affiliate relationships for little or no cost to the school. And do not underestimate the power of affiliate relationships. Many local companies would love schools to give free samples of their products to their parent communities, as that is a powerful marketing tool for those companies. In turn, the school provides gifts that have good value to their community that have no direct cost to the school at all. Through affiliate relationships, everyone wins. According to Cialdini, there is more power in giving the gift up front in the expectation of a desired behavior than there is in offering the gift as a reward after a behavior is demonstrated. In other words, if you give someone the gift at the start and say it is to thank them for an action you want them to take, they are far more likely to take that action than if you ask them to do the action and say they will only get the gift at the end when the action is completed, like a prize. So applying the principle for schools, and we'll start with truancy. The goal here is to create a sense of obligation to attend for the student, and also to get the parents feeling an obligation to support the school with regards their child's attendance. For students that have irregular attendance, give a small gift to their parent at the start of each week for a few successive weeks, such as a bar of chocolate with a handwritten note thanking them for their help and support in making sure their child attends school that week. In time, the cumulative consistency should lead them to a point where their support will continue without further gifts being required. To the child with poor attendance, give them a small gift at the end of a lesson they do attend, and say it is to thank them for their excellent attendance to the next lesson. They will then feel obligated to attend, and there will be a degree of discomfort if they don't. Conventional approaches to incentivizing attendance traditionally offer a reward only after the student attends. However, the principle of reciprocity indicates that you are far more likely to get the attendance result you want if you create a sense of obligation through a gift or favor first. This is true for both the parents that you want to support the school and the student you're trying to improve the attendance for, and the student. Another way to apply the principle is in getting the parent community to support your school activities. Before a school activity occurs that you want support for, send the parents a gift with a personalized note thanking them for their willingness to support the activity. This works for sports and arts activities, fundraising events, functions, and ceremonies. In general, look for gifts of value that you can provide to your parent community and share them freely. This builds a sense of obligation from the parent community towards the school and leads to supportive parents who will be far more likely to value all that the school does for their children. They're also more likely to speak positively about the school in the wider community. Using the principle to get staff commitment to extracurricular activities. When staff give freely of their time and the school provides no reward, remuneration, or other reciprocal value, this leads to a sense of resentment. We understand why when we look at this through the reciprocity principle. Staff working for free is ultimately a failure from the school to reciprocate value, and therefore is a failure of meeting society's ingrained sense of obligation from an employer to an employee. The challenge is schools generally have no funding to pay staff for extracurricular involvement, but providing extracurricular activities is often expected of schools. How then can schools address this imbalance? By creating the obligation to participate first through providing value to the staff member before they ask the staff member to give up their time in the extracurricular space. Value does not need to be financial. There are a range of gifts schools can give to their staff to get them to engage in co-curricular activities without that sense of resentment that often currently occurs. Extracurricular is a big ask on staff members' time. So to properly balance this, the school needs a sizable gift up front, or this could be achieved with regularly spaced small gifts, such as a wine, chocolates, or even hampers. Because schools generally need this gift to come with little or no cost, affiliate gifts such as free product samples work well here. If each staff member received a hamper full of affiliate gifts before they were asked to take on co-curricular roles, they would be much more likely to feel obligated to say yes. Supporting an organization's culture and retaining staff. The goal here from an organization's perspective is to have your staff feeling a sense of indebtedness to you and an obligation to stay and deliver value. Much like in the example we looked at where a staff member felt like they couldn't leave till the boss retired in lesson 1. In schools, it's going to be unrealistic to gift regular items that cost, such as flowers and little gifts, to all of the staff, as they have large communities they need to foster and little funds to do this with. This is where personalization can be very powerful. Look at the interests and needs of your staff and try to regularly enable value to them in these spaces. It may be through professional learning that is more of a personal benefit to a staff member than of specific benefit to the school. It can also be as simple as making it clear that you are grateful for the work of your people. Thank you cards or other ways that show you are genuinely grateful for your staff's work closes the reciprocity loop so they don't feel they give without any balanced return. In garnering parent support of student behavior and student learning, if you provide value to the parents, particularly if that value is provided for free, they will naturally be more inclined to support the school with regards their child's behavior and learning. The best value will come down to the specific needs of your community. And with such diversity among different school communities all around the world, There is no easy one-size-fits-all solution to include here. However, you could, for example, get your staff to create digital resources that can be shared with your parent community that help them in some way. This could be in a range of formats, including articles, video content, business resources, financial resources, etc. If you don't have anyone within your school capable of developing resources like this, look for affiliate relationships again. There are many coaches and consultants across every industry who have free resources they would love you to give to your parent community. They may even pay you to share them, and now that's a win for everyone. Using the rule to increase student engagement. A major challenge for schools and teachers to be seen as providing great value that students feel then obligated to return by working hard is that they are often forced together for no other reason than a geographic one. In other words, the school is close to the student's home. The students feel no obligation to the school or their teachers to work hard, which means only those that have a more intrinsic desire to work hard academically do so. For many, school is then relegated to being something they have to endure till they are old enough to get out. To foster buy-in from students, reciprocation is one tool teachers can use to get results. Remember, the goal in this situation is that we want to foster a sense of obligation from the student to engage positively in their learning. Some of the ways teachers can achieve this include sharing with students that they are excited to see the work they produce because they, the teacher, put a lot of time into developing this resource. This makes the students feel they owe the teacher for the work they put in, so they are obligated to return the debt by completing the work. Give the student a thank you gift in advance for completing work. This creates a sense of obligation for the student to complete the work because they have already received the reward. They will feel a need to reciprocate the value they have been given, because if they don't complete it, they betray the trust they were given in getting the gift in advance. And that's just a couple of examples of how this could be put into practice. And finally, I want to touch on the financial support for the school. In effect, this is about securing funds. The goal here is to increase the financial support for the school by the parent and wider community, such as through sponsorship and donations. Cialdini is clear that people are far more likely to open their wallets if you give them something of value first, thereby creating the reciprocal obligation for them to give value back when you ask for it in the form of financial support. Give a gift first, even if it is a small packet of sweets or candy, and then make the ask, and you should greatly increase both the likelihood of payment and the size of donations.